Welcome back to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda, giving you all the latest updates on anything and all things Ravens. Well, it's official, Ravens flock. We have our new head coach. Jesse Minter is officially our head coach, signed on the dotted line as of yesterday. And like I said in yesterday's video as well, I wouldn't be complaining about this. I think I preferred Kubiak, in my opinion. But according to rumors that the Raiders were making aggressive waves towards getting Mentor, and the Ravens didn't want to lose him. The Ravens decided to pull the trigger and sign him. Hence why you know Mentor canceled his flight to Cleveland because he was supposed to have a head coaching interview for the Browns. We'll get to that in a second here, but thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. But again, I'm not upset by this. Minter has done exceptionally well as the Chargers defensive coordinator and as the Michigan defensive coordinator. Won a national championship under Jim Harbaugh. There is a video circulating around where Minter, after Harbaugh, and everything, after he the Michigan team beat Ohio State, and he's just waving at the Ohio State sideline like this. I want that energy, man. That is such trolling energy. Love that, and it's promising to me. Okay, yes, I wanted Kubiak, but I'm not upset by this. But it's funny to me that the Browns wanted to interview him, and then he just canceled his flight and said, "Yeah, I don't want to." There's one of two things for me. One, he already knew. Like, Ravens and Kubiak said that, we're not going to wait for you. We got to pull the trigger on this now. So they went with Minter. Minter was wanted to sleep on it after his in-person interview. And, he was thinking about going to the, Browns to interview. But then he was like, I'm going to be stuck in limbo if I'm on the Browns because that's where you are. Kevin Stefanski was stuck in limbo after Baker Mayfield left or was let go, and he didn't want his career to dwindle down. So Ravens and Minter were able to come to a deal, and we have a new head coach, and I'm very happy with it. Mind you, what he brings to the table is that, yes, he's a Harbaugh guy, he's on that Harbaugh tree, but he's also his own man. I'm very positive that Minter will bring in the right guys, especially if Lamar Jackson. And, Lamar did confirm that he would be sitting in on any in-person interviews with Bisciotti and Eric Costa for those the finalists of the head coach position. So if he impressed Lamar, that's all I need to know, because if Lamar will probably come out later and say, yeah, like when I talked to him, oh boy, it's like one of those things for me where it's you got a generational quarterback, you got to impress him, and if Mentor did it, I'm like, cool, let's go. That's all I need to hear. But what he actually brings to the table is, we're going to dive into this. So in LA, he took Los Angeles Chargers from a bottom 10 defense to back-to-back playoff seasons, 22-12. Defensively wise, in 2024 he was number one in points allowed with 17.7 points per game on average, a 10-point improvement from the year before he was signed. That's Mike McDonald level crazy right there. Top 10 in pass defense, run defense, and coverage grades. Great, unbelievable. Held opponents to the fewest points in the NFL through week 10, 13 points per game on average. That is nuts. Okay, again, Mike McDonald level crazy. 2025, number 5 in overall defense. Love that. Allowed just 179.9 passing yards per game, which is 5th. 19 interceptions, tied for 3rd in the NFL. Held teams to 20 points or fewer in 10 of the last 11 games. Developed a collaborative, player-driven system that elevated stars like Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Derwin James. Mind you, James and Bosa have both come out and said, yes, Minter absolutely deserves a head coaching position because that guy is a dog. Like, obviously, they don't want to see him go, but at the same time, like, whatever team he goes to, they on camera they said that listen, they're getting a good one. They loved Minter. Like, the amount of praise they gave to him is just unbelievable. They said he was just one of those guys that they just loved. They loved his insight, and there's nothing but good praise from them to Minter. So, all right, like you get, especially if you get Bosa, one of the best defensive edges in the league, praising you. That's ooh, it's one of those things for me where it's if guys like this are saying, yeah, like we're like whoever picks him up, he's a dog. You're getting a dog, and again, it's just it's hopeful for me here because again, McDonald did the same exact thing as a Ravens defensive coordinator, had almost similar stats back in that 2023 season. So if we're getting that guy or guys similar to that, all for it. Who is our head coach? Mind you, yes, Super Bowls have been won by offensive-minded coaches in the last 6 years. But the Seahawks with Mike McDonald are on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl. McDonald is a defensive-minded coach, but look at what his offense has been doing. Look what they did to the 49ers, just to name one. So, I mean, I think that we got a dog. I'm just saying. I think the Ravens made an absolute decision, and this it's like, oh, I'm excited. I'm sorry, I'm excited. That's all I have to say. There's nothing else to say here because we get a young guy. He's 42 years old. Doesn't look 42, by the way, and who can probably bring a much better level of creativity to this Ravens team than John Harbaugh ever did. So, it's, mind you, also in red zone conversion with the Chargers defense, he was first in red zone conversions with 45%. Fifth and third down conversions, all of this is in 2024 at 35.7%. In 2025, fourth in red zone conversions with 46.9%. Fifth and third down conversions, again, when I say first, fourth, and fifth, that's good for a defense to hold any red zone conversions or any third down conversions. That's good. Those percentages are fantastic. So again, Ravens desperately need a guy like that when it comes to preventing touchdowns. Minter absolutely knows how to do that. So, but watch out for the coordinators, though. That's what I'm not really concerned about, like who Minter's going to choose in terms of who's going to lead the offense and who's going to lead the defense. But I know that he is going to pick well, especially if, again, Lamar probably, praised him in the interview process and, said this guy is a demon and I want him as our head coach. And Bishotti and ABC looked at each other and said, yeah, we want him too. So offensively, I expect a guy that's creative and is understanding of just how it's an ever-growing, it's like an ever-growing evolve of Lamar Jackson. That you can't just stick with the same thing over and over again. Roman kept doing that. Todd Monken kept doing that. Mind you, Todd Monken was able to adapt a little bit more, but it wasn't consistent. So with this, I am positive Mentor is going to be getting a coordinator that he can sit down with and say, listen, we have a generational quarterback, once-in-a-lifetime quarterback, who is constantly evolving his game, and we need you to constantly evolve with him. As a defensive mind, it's no brainer. I think Mentor's going to choose a guy that's similar to him, similar mindset, because again, he brought all that as the Chargers defensive coordinator. All these stats, he revolutionized the Chargers defense. He's going to choose a guy that, you know, is aggressive, and mind you, he's not going to pick a Zach Gore guy. He's going to pick a guy that knows what he's doing, who, you know, won't be a bend or break mentality. He's going to choose a guy that will make the Ravens feared again on defense. I guarantee it. I am excited. And because we need that back. We need that mentality back. And I also say this, I think that he is going to convince Eric DeCosta to open up the checkbook. Say, listen, we need guys on defense that are young, that are hungry. We need some stars, and we need to start making some cuts on players that, you know, weren't consistent. I'm sorry, I'm saying Marlon Humphrey. Like, we need to start looking at him and just being like, well, last couple seasons you haven't been there, you know. So again, but all of this is speculative. But I know that he's going to choose coordinators that fit the offense and a coordinator that fits the defense. All right. I also wanted to go into one more thing here about a comment that was said in my last video. Mind you, the video with Kubiak and Minter possibly being together is just a theory. It was always just a theory because, you know, we speculate on things that could happen. It was just a theory, and if it were like at the end of the day, the Ravens, the NFL, it's all business. You throw a guy a blank check, he and bait him enough to come and, you know, be the same coach that he had already been on the Chargers. Like, why would Jim, John's brother, allow Minter to make a lateral move to be our defensive coordinator after we fired his brother? He is still the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. I know. What I'm saying is that you throw a dog a bone. I mean, it doesn't matter now. This theory's dead. But you throw a dog a bone. He's like a big enough bone. He will, you know, might want to take it. Give a guy a lot of money. He might want to, you know, be like, okay, well, one more season under here, and then I can become a head coach somewhere else. No. But again, it was only a theory. And besides, a perfect example of this is Eric Bellamy, who was supposed to take a head coaching position after winning 2 Super Bowls as the Chiefs head offensive coordinator. Instead, he ended up on the Bears as their running game coordinator. I don't even know how that happened. Now he's going back to the Chiefs as their offensive coordinator. Again, you throw a dog a bone, he's going to, you know, if it's big enough, he's going to take it. It's all about money. It's a business at the end of the day. Mind you, it was just a theory. Obviously, it's not, it's dead now. It's like, I'm not going to say that, we can go after Kubiak as an offensive coordinator. It's like, no, Kubiak's going to get a coaching job, wherever that's going to be. Obviously, I would be totally surprised if Kubiak was approached to be the offensive coordinator for the Ravens and accept. I would be it would just completely shock me. But again, it's at the end of the day, the NFL is a business. The Ravens are a business. So you just throw money on the table and see if it's, if they're going to bite. Thank you for tuning in to Ravens today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one, everyone.